I'm here. So
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
Howdy, Oklahoma.
My name is Chet Holmgren, and I'm down to dunk.
Dead gum.
I'm Josh Giddey, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
Is that like you eat them together?
everybody tells me to get the bag of burgers.
I need like a straw.
Howdy. I'm an artist on the court.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
My name is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
It might be Aaron Wiggins.
This is a troll. It's troll. I'm trolling.
Howdy, partner.
Because I think it would take away from who he is, you know? Yeah.
I love Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma to death.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Perfect.
Great.
Very good.
I like the hat.
You like the hat?
Vava.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk. I've been doing a lot of dunking.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Did you know that OKC scored 0.091 points per possession in isolation yesterday?
That feels high, actually.
0.091.
Yeah, that it feels like they should be at 0.00000. Also,
That's
why
1 point over 11 possessions. That is so bad.
Yeah. Also, why can we use O in place of 0, but not 0 in place of O?
That is smart.
So, before we talk about that game, let's talk about the in-season tournament. And with the in-season tournament, not only are we getting potentially some fun games, one against the Warriors on Friday here in Oklahoma City, but we get our new court. And if you are watching on YouTube, I'm sure you've in it. Maybe if you haven't seen this, you can find this online on NBA.com. But here is the in-season tournament court. Every team gets a court, and the Thunder's is a blue court. It is as blue as can be. It's got the in-season tournament trophy on it. It's got a little orange Oklahoma on one side of the court. The Thunder logo is orange. It's an interesting one. I am interested to see what it looks like in person. It's not as bad as some others. But there's a lot of bad ones. There's a lot of really bad courts out there. The one in New Orleans looks like the Joker. The Lakers one is just like bright yellow, which will look really bad on TV. But I think this is like middle of the road, basically. So yeah, but it's a choice to make them look like this. It's a choice that they made. The NBA made. They made the choice to do all these courts, and I don't really know why, but we're doing it.
That's awesome. I mean, it's giving a logo and like a novelty to these regular season games that you can actually tell that this is something different.
Yeah.
Even if probably it's not, I wonder. Like, I don't know. We will see.
Yeah. I am interested to see it in person. I will not be too judgmental until I see it in person. How about that? I will try to
It's great.
not be too judgmental. Okay. On to the games. So we did an emergency pod for the Cavs game on Friday night, which was super duper fun. And just as fun as the game was on Friday, the game was just as bad yesterday against the Nuggets. They got pummeled by the Nuggets, and I am generally fine with it because the Nuggets look so sharp.
Yeah.
They look so ready, and they played physical, and they got easy buckets, and they look like a team that had been together for a long time. And don't you know, they have been. And so the Thunder, it really is a good reminder that there is still a lot to figure out with this Thunder squad, even though they have some of the most exciting young players in the league. There's still a lot to figure out. Let's start with some high notes. Can we do that before we
Yeah.
talk about some negative things?
I'm curious about the word some, like it's a plural, but that's okay. That's fine.
Well, I just want to start with Chet. I just thought
Okay.
offensively, as much as Jokic was such a difficult mismatch for them, you started to see offensively why it made sense to play Chet at center
Mhm.
because he stretches guys out. He can get to the hoop, and his handle has looked really good. And his ability
Yeah.
to kind of navigate through the lane has been better than what I thought it would be this early. So I thought he looked great in the first half. 19 points. He only had 4 rebounds. We were talking about this before we started, but Usman Jang was it was team high in rebounds at 5. It just wasn't great. It just was not a great night for everybody, except for offensively. I thought Chet was pretty good.
Yeah, he was, and I mean, he paid a huge toll against Jokic. It's not the only one. He is among, I would say, 28 other centers that are bullied by Jokic every single day.
Sure.
In real life, there are centers and there are players in general who can be a little bit more effective. I think that Chet really needs to understand how to do this, not just against Jokic, but in general. I mean, he probably never played against a guy so talented and so physical like Jokic. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all remember that he had a hard time against Kenny Lofton Jr. So, I mean, this is something where Chet has to improve. I don't think that the matchup between Jokic and Chet is the reason why OKC lost this way. I mean, the rebounding, maybe a little bit. Rebounding is a team concept, not like just a one person concept. Sure, having a guy like Duran or Jalen Duran or a guy like Mark Williams probably could help in this matter because they are, well, especially Duran is a good rebounder. But it's not that it's just Chet Holmgren. I mean, you have to box out. Everyone has to keep his man away from the basket, and the Thunder did not. So, to me, saying that, yeah, we all know that the Chet cannot play center because of this matchup. No, and not even for the subpar performance against Chicago. To me, these 2 games highlight the importance on play center for the entire season, so that he can learn this entire season, even if it means losing a couple of games here and there because he's not great. Offensively, you know why he needs to be there because the space is there when he is rolling. And I mean, to me, so it's a no-brainer to keep going this route. Maybe to preserve him a little bit, find ways to help him a little bit in some lineups, but not the starting unit. The starting units needs to have the most spacing they can get. Because this, to me, this and the physicality, which I think we will talk about, the lack of spacing and the lack of physicality were the reasons why OKC lost last night.
Yeah, and it's not just like Chet learning to play the position. It's everybody else learning how to play with Chet as
Yeah.
well. Like Giddey averaged a lot of rebounds, 6 rebounds per game. He was not good on the boards yesterday. He had 3. No, he had 2. He had 3 assists. He had 2 rebounds the whole game. And he was not felt as a physical presence, except for maybe a couple drives of his. Other than that, there was no physical presence from Josh Giddey last night at all. J-Dub could have just been more aggressive, period, because Shea didn't have it going. And also, most importantly, I think Shea played his worst game as a Thunder player yesterday. Yeah. And when your best player plays his very worst game, you're going to lose. You're going to lose the game, and you're probably going to lose it by a lot. And they did. They lost by a whole lot to the Nuggets. And I thought some of it was like the Nuggets played great defense. I thought that obviously their starting lineup plays really good. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, great defender. Aaron Gordon, great defender. Peyton Watson was really good yesterday. They just play just so together in every single way. This team knows how to play together, and the Thunder are still figuring that out. And I also just thought Shea was not getting the calls. He was getting fouled a lot. The calls were not consistent yesterday. I don't know why. I don't really get it. It was kind of strange, and I hate having this conversation. Like, I just don't want to have this conversation. I don't like talking about the officials. I don't like talking about it at all. But the fact is, Shea is doing the exact same stuff that got him 10 free throws a game last year that is getting him hardly any this year. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is not a Shea's doing something different kind of thing. No. Like last year, doing that same stuff, he would have had 6 more free throws. And I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer to that. I think that some of the missed call were a little bit of egregious. Some others were okay. You can't, you can not call it if you do it on both ends. And truth to be told, the ref allowed the game to be very physical on both ends. So I don't know if this is something that the NBA is doing as a whole, like
Christian
limiting.
Brown touched the ball. Christian Brown, if somebody breathed on Christian Brown, he got free throws.
Yeah, but like if you look at the total attempts,
He shot more free throws than Shea did.
I know. The Shea thing is weird. Is very weird because it's not good to compare the 13 free throws for Denver to the 18th to the Thunder because the Thunder drive a lot more than what Denver does.
Way more.
Yeah. So I think it's not an apple to apple comparison, but the game was officiating in a way where like little contacts generally were not called. So I don't know what is happening. I think that there will be a correction at some point because you can't just penalize like driving dribble penetration to the rim because it's part of the of the game and like allowing that physicality down low. It's not really good. So I think that there will be a correction. But to me, that it was obvious that in general OKC was not physical enough defensively. And they got punched early by Jokic. And again, I don't mind the one-on-one push shot or layup or whatever. That is something where you can survive, even if it's 8 out of 10. You can survive if he's not the passer, if he's not the fulcrum of the offense. The issue to me was as soon as the ball left this end, there is somebody else who is more physical than his defender in that position. And so it was an everywhere kind of thing. And that OKC cannot allow, especially when they're going down. You need something different. You need guys to just be after it. And there were moments where OKC played good defense. I think middle of the second quarter, they had a good moment. It seemed like when a few good shots didn't go in, and on the other end, Michael Porter Jr. just hit the most crazy shot, which is something that actually Dagnall spoke about pre-game. Like there will be a moment where we will play good defense and MPJ will just hit the stupid shot. He didn't say stupid shot. I'm saying stupid shot. And that happened. And that was it because Shea couldn't answer. The dribble was not flowing, and they just dissolved against a very good team that played very good.
Yeah, this is largely a learning game for the team, and as a fan, a learning game too. Like learning that, like, hey, this is a process that they have to go through, where they have to figure out: do we have what it takes to beat a team like Denver? Do we have it? I think they do. How do you figure out what works and what doesn't work? How can you not just and as fans, I think that we always think things like, oh, well, they just need to go get this or they need to go get that. The fact is, Jalen Williams, Chet, Giddey, Dort, Shea need to be more physical basketball players.
Yeah.
And they need to learn how to do that. And they need to learn how to play with each other better. There was a lot of isolation basketball. This happened a lot in the Cleveland game too. Whenever the offense was stuck in the mud, it was my turn with the basketball. I'm going to go try to create something.
Yeah.
And things stagnated to the point where they were going to lose that game, if not for a literal basketball miracle that occurred on Friday night.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to play a team in the Pistons that are in learning process too. And I am expecting big things from Shea tonight. You go 2 of 16. You score 7 points. He hadn't scored 7 points since December 16th, 2019. 4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago was when that happened. The context of the team was so dramatically different. Steven Adams was still wearing a Thunder uniform. Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari wore a Thunder uniform when that happened, and he only took 4 shots that night. This is the worst Thunder game for him, and I expect him to bounce back. I think that Shea is the kind of player that will bounce back and have a big game. I've even told Rylan Stiles yesterday that if he scores 60, I'm going to do a Locked On Thunder podcast with him. I said I'll promise.
Wow.
Going to do a little combo pod with him. I think that Shea's going to bounce back. I don't know if he's going to score 60, but he should have a good game tonight against an inexperienced Detroit team that is tough. They have a lot of tough-minded players that are just gritty from the start. They're not as skilled as the Thunder. They don't have the depth that the Thunder do. I'm curious to see what that looks like tonight. Also, Detroit's played well. They've been pretty good defensively. They have no spacing on offense. And they have a big Enduran that he's been quite dominant so far. Yeah. And so Chet's going to have to stretch him out on the defensive end, and then he's going to have to play more physical tonight. He and Dub and Giddey need to play more physical tonight if they're going to go out and beat this Pistons team. And
they need to be assertive from the beginning. They need to punch first. And if not, they need to punch again and again and again. Kenrich is missed, but we can't really expect that this team plays hard only when Kenny is out there. This is not what the winning team is. If this is the recipe, I can tell you today that this team will not be a 45 winning team if they need Kenrich to be tough. And I don't think that is the case. I think that there are a lot of things that can explain what happened yesterday. It's the beginning of the season. It's a very weird timing. It's another team that is playing like amazing basketball. Like Denver was hitting everything. Not just easy shots. They were hitting difficult, reverse, whatever shots. So there are many explanations. So I don't think that is the case. But games like the one that OKC has to play tonight, and I would say the rest of the home stretch, they have to establish themselves and just not allowing the other team to get on any momentum. Just control the game. I remember one game last year. I think it was against either the Pacers or the Pelicans. I think it was the Pacers. When they were not in a good moment, OKC wasn't, and they just decided, okay, we're going to win this one, and they dominated the game from the beginning to the end, just not allowing anything to the other team. I think that OKC needs a stretch of 2, 3, 4 games where they play that way and where they don't allow the physicality of the opponent to be better than theirs, and they just play the right way. Because as you mentioned before, there are a lot of moments where the team is not playing cohesively. It's a Shea trying to create. And if the 3-ball doesn't go in, they don't really have a good flow yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For Detroit tonight, Bojan Bogdanovic is out. He has a pretty bad right calf strain. Isaiah Livers is out with a left ankle sprain. And then Monty Morris out with a white quad strain. So that is interesting. The Thunder have not submitted their injury report yet. I assume it's going to be K. Rich and Jay Will that will be out.
What is the status for Jay Will? Is there any update?
I haven't heard an update yet. We may get one from Mark tonight, but we shall see. But Detroit tonight should be interesting. We kind of talked about the starters. Giddey has had a slow start to his season. He had a slow start to last season too. Nothing that I have any concerns about. Chet's been amazing. J-Dub has been really good too, but needs to increase his production. Needs to increase his shot attempts. I want to see him be the guy that takes 14, 15, 16 shots. And then from the bench, let's talk a little bit about the way that the bench has played so far. I think the most impressive bench player to me has been Cason Wallace.
Yeah.
Who has shot just a ridiculous percentage and has defended well, and he plays pretty physical himself. He's got a ways to go, obviously, but so far so good for Cason Wallace's career.
Yeah, he has been what he was advertised for, like a defender, greedy defender on ball. I would say good enough off ball as of today. Not great, but he is a guy that will not probably lose his man entirely on even if it's on motion. And offensively, he's hitting good shots. He's taking good shots. He took like 2 mid-range jumpers that were like a little bit perplexing, especially in the first 2 games. I don't think that he had one against Denver, but the shot looks good. The fact that he is able to relocate without the ball pretty easily and be a target in a good spot at a good time. I mean, the leak out in transition is something that he's mastering already. Like his sprints to the corner is always available for his teammates, and I mean, this is just good. Just a good player, and you can see why he can function as a stopper in a unit instead of Dort. I mean, he has very good on-ball skills, and he's able to pick up guys from the other half court and just be there. Good hands, good instincts. I've been impressed, to be honest with you. And if the shooting is this one over the next 2-3 seasons, he'll fight for a starting spot. Well, not this one.
This one, 90%. You think he can shoot 90% for his career?
But if the shot is good looking, I know, good looking like this, and if it's going in at a reasonable percentage, not what is happening right now, then I can see him fighting for a starting position, because it's exactly what you want, like good defense and reliable shooting.
Yeah, he's looked great. I have no complaints, and I also love the way he moves off ball. He's got great hands. I pointed this out on Thunder After Dark last night. Is that they've been using him in the dunker spot some. And
do you want to make a fusion between him and Nerlens Noel just to have the perfect player?
If Nerlens Noel had the hands of Cason Wallace, he would have been an all-star. I'll say that.
Wow. Like shooting wise also, or just catching hands?
Just the catching hands only. That's all he needs.
Can you imagine the shooting hands as well?
The shooting hand, he would have been unbelievable. He would have been one of the best players in the NBA. But just honestly, if he could just catch the ball, boy, it would have been great.
Yeah,
would have been a great thing. He would have never made it to the Thunder on a minimum deal. I'll tell you that. Would have never ever happened.
Where is he? Where is he now? I kind of lost track.
He got signed by the Kings and cut.
Okay, so he's not employed.
Unemployed.
Wow.
As far as I know. So, yeah.
That's too bad.
Grizzlies decided to sign Bismack Biyombo instead of him. So
that's bad.
So there's that. I'm going to give you a list of players. I want you to tell me what they have in common. Isaac Okoro, Kobe White, Yusuf Nurkic, Jonathan Kuminga, Chris Boucher, Bobby Portis, Jordan Clarkson. What do they all have in common?
They are yet to record an assist.
No, that's a great thought, but no.
Give me some hints. Is this stat related or?
Yeah, it's stat related. Something that I'm about to get real mad about.
Me or in general?
Just me. I'm about to get mad about it.
You're about to get mad.
I'm about to get mad when I tell you the answer.
Yeah, no, I have no clue. Can I get another hint?
No, they are all averaging more free throws than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh yeah, I should have said that. Okay,
all of them, all those guys I listed are averaging more free throws. Malcolm Brogdon, Danilo Gallinari, who I didn't even really know was still going to play basketball this year, is averaging more free throws.
He's playing well for the whatever team is in Washington right now, Wizards.
Yeah,
playing
sure.
Okay.
Cool.
Gallo is cool.
One of the 8 best players in the league is not getting the respect that he's due. and I hate that I'm the guy that's saying this, but what I watched yesterday was insane. It was insanity. And the fact that the guys that I listed are averaging more free throws per game. Cole Anthony, more free throws per game.
Yeah, this is about to be corrected by nature. Like it will happen. So, and I mean, let's look at the positive spin here. OKC shot 50%, roughly 50% from three in the first two games.
Yeah.
We knew that a game like this was about to come. And it's great that it comes against Denver, where you probably play well, you probably shoot the ball well, and you lose anyway. They lost in a very dramatic and maddening fashion. But if you look at the grand scheme of things and you say, okay, how they shot the ball, Denver shot the ball perfectly well. OKC shot the ball poorly, so poorly. Even I would say it's very distant from their shot quality because they had good shooters take open shots. So, I mean, yeah, it's something where you can say, okay, OKC won 2 games on the road. They lost against the Denver, and they still have Shea, who has like a lot to get to in the coming games. So I'm not mad. That actually makes me happy. Can you imagine losing this game by Shea? And Shea was having 40 points and whatnot. No, it's better this way.
They would have lost by 7.
Who cares? Do you care about net rating this early in the season?
No, I don't.
Which is probably still positive.
Not even talking about net rating right now,
or barely negative right now.
We're weeks away from talking about net rating, but I'm
exactly.
I just think that was just some bull, just a bunch of bull corn yesterday.
Yeah,
and that better be corrected tonight.
But can you imagine something like this happening against Charlotte, like it did last season twice? Isn't it better that it happens against the champions, where you just say,
I'm
okay.
not mad about them losing to Denver. I'm not mad about that. I have no qualms with it. I thought they were going to lose anyways, so it didn't really matter to me. What I just want fairness. That's all I want. All right, is that so much to ask for?
It's a bit too much to ask for. Yes.
You're probably
fairness.
Right. You're probably right. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the bench and the upcoming schedule. We'll be right back. And we're back after that quick break. Off the bench, we didn't have great performances yesterday from really anybody. I think Ousmane Dieng is being put in positions that he's not quite ready for. Some of that is that there's no K. Rich and Jay Will, and they've elected to use him as the token tall guy. And so he takes the spot in the middle of the defense, and I just don't think that it's the best utilization of his skills. I think that he's best used as a perimeter player on defense because he can slide his feet, and he is abnormally tall for a perimeter player, and I think that is where he's best suited. But I think that this is all they're just kind of using whatever they got right now before they get healthy from the bench. And then Wiggs, I thought, looked fine. I thought he played a fine game yesterday. Micic dribbles too much and is still trying to figure out how he fits in and is trying to figure out the game. And it's also a process for him, even if he is 29 years old.
Yeah, and Poku played.
Shout out to
14 minutes. Great.
He was in the game, scored 1 point, grabbed 1 rebound, had 1
the ball
block
twice.
Yeah, 2 turnovers in 14 minutes. It was not pretty, but
no, not pretty.
Good to see him playing again.
Sure. I mean, Isaiah Joe is always doing something which solidifies him as probably the best bench player together with Kaysen. I think that
4 steals yesterday. Some of them were pretty loud too. He was pretty good, even though he didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah, he is struggling a little bit from deep, which is part of the issue. Micic, I think he likes to have the ball and he likes to dribble the ball, and this will not allow him to play big minutes on this team because this is not exactly what Mark Dagnall wants. Defensively, he had a few moments where I said, "Are you here?" Like there was one possession where he completely missed. I don't remember who it was. Probably it was Watson, wide open in the corner,
Mhm.
and this will come for Mitsic. I think that in a month or so we'll see a better version of him. I'm quite sure of it. Jang, I agree with you. I don't really know if these reps are any good for him because he's playing out of position. He's not really there defensively, and I don't know if these reps are just useful.
Yeah.
It's like basically let's do all Baisley, which was terrible for his development. I'm not sure that this version of Ooze is this bad, but it's clear that he's playing out of position. I wonder if we will see Sar tonight because Detroit is really physical. So I
Yeah,
would not
they're
be.
big. Yeah, I wondered if it just would have been better to play Sar, just in general,
Yeah,
yesterday as the big and let Jang be a wing in that lineup.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not like that's not going to make the difference. We're not trying to like make an argument that like, hey, if you'd have done this, you probably could have won the game. Like, no, like you're probably losing.
no,
anyways.
no. But I don't see like a huge difference between Olivier Sarr and Zeke Nagy. Nagy is clearly better, but it's not life changing better.
Agreed.
Wiggins, aren't
Yeah.
you a bit disappointed by the first 3 games?
What are you disappointed about? What do you want?
I want more juice. I want something. Say, oh wow, nice play, Wiggs.
He had a really nice cut to the rim yesterday.
Sure.
That I think I might have said that exact sentence to Royce.
Yeah. Okay. Are you excited about this?
He's not like some exciting jump off the page player. He's kind of a plug and play guy.
Question: your memory of Wiggins last season, is it better or worse of what you saw in the first 3 games?
It's about the same. It's like
Exactly.
he's not doing anything that's like changing my life.
Exactly.
But he's
I'm a
playing.
big-
Like he's consistently playing minutes, and I don't think he's taking a ton off the table when he plays.
Is he adding?
Did he add last year? I thought that he was just kind of a guy.
In spots. No, in spots. I think in
It's-
spots it was.
Also, just too early. It's too
It
early.
is too early.
To,
Of course, for everything, it is too early. I mean,
Yeah.
it's too early to say anything about anybody.
it is.
But over
We
the
should just
first,
shut up. We should just end the podcast. You think?
exactly. But I think that what I saw is not really. It's a bit worse than last year. So I really want him to develop a little bit more. I think there were moments last year where it was more aggressive, and it's been lukewarm the first 3 games, and it's
Yeah, it's
whatever.
I think it's going a little under the radar how different this team is and
Mhm.
how everybody is kind of trying to figure out like where do I fit? Like where's
Yeah.
my lane? Like there's no clearly defined lanes yet for these guys. Like
Mhm.
Shea gets his lane, which is hey, you're the best player and you get to do the right things and whatever you want. Chet, I think, is doing what he can to solidify himself as the second best player on this team. And I think by season's end, we will feel that way. That he is clearly the second best player. He has the mentality. He's aggressive. He can shoot. He can do so many things and has been so impressive. And I understand Wemby is awesome, but Chet has been better. Like just flat out has been a better player than Wemby this year. And he honestly should be. He had a year in the NBA. He had a year to work on his body. He had a year to be with the team. He had a year to figure things out. He is a better basketball player today than Victor Wembanyama. He's been awesome, and he deserves more credit than he's gotten. Has he struggled in spots? Yes. Has he been amazing in spots? Of course. He's been awesome. That's a huge piece to add to a team that had an identity that was already fully formed by the end of last season. And now that identity has to shift. His talent level demands that things shift.
Yeah.
And so I think that even for a guy like Aaron Wiggins, like reshuffling the deck figuring out, okay, what do I do? Where do I fit? I think is a challenge for a lot of them. I think the guy that's done the best of figuring that out is Lou Dort, who has defended really well, who is taking good corner threes, and has I think that this has been a very good version of Dort. He wasn't out of control. He wasn't taking crazy shots. I've really enjoyed the stylings of Lou Dort so far this season, and I hope that continues. But my main point is that everybody still has to figure out who they are and what they are within this new team, including like newcomers like Casey Wallace and Mitsic and all these guys. There's just a lot to figure out, and I think that may be like a little bit underrated as we kind of move through the first part of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Lou is playing more of a ancillary role on offense, which is good.
Yeah.
Someone like we can't hide the fact that we said that Giddy is struggling.
Yeah.
But I think that one of the main points is I really want J-Dub to take 15 shots.
Yeah.
Like 16
Totally.
shots.
Totally.
It's not good that he takes 8, especially on a night where Shea is not cooking. Like when Shea is cooking, it's fine. You can play off of him and be okay. But when Shea is not cooking, just be the guy. Be aggressive. Take 12 shots. Take maybe 2-3 possessions where you actually create an advantage for you or for one of your teammates. And if your teammates are just like missing point blank, just take a few for yourself and be the guy. Because I think that J-Dub has the talent. And it's not that I want J-Dub to be selfish or anything, but you just need to be more aggressive in order for the defense to shift a little bit more on you. Mm-hmm. And maybe that will free up a little bit more for Shea.
Yeah.
Granted, Denver has very good defenders at all in all the spots. And so it was not an easy game. But still, just try and be more aggressive, be more present in the game. I think that we had like 8-9 shots. That is not good at all. I think it was 6 out of 9, right?
Yeah,
that's not good. I mean, just take 15 and then we talk. I think that J-Dub needs to be more aggressive because defensively he was good enough. I mean, at times he was even physical against Jokic and against Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I really need him. Well, I don't need it. I really want to see him more aggressive and more like demanding on offense.
Yeah.
And then you can dish. And then you can dish the ball wherever you want.
Yeah. I mean, this has been an ongoing conversation for the last. I mean, it was an ongoing conversation continued on from last year. It's like the aggression needs to tick up for him.
Yeah.
And he did that toward the end of the season. And I think he is a guy that is trying to figure out his exact place within all of this. And we just have to kind of enjoy every bit of the ride of this because it is a process and it is something that takes time to figure out. And that's okay. Like it's not anything to be concerned about. Was yesterday a lot of fun? Nope. But you know what? Good thing is there's a game tonight. They play against Detroit. Tonight in Oklahoma City, they have a big-time homestand here in OKC with some pretty challenging opponents. It's going to be pretty exciting. Detroit tonight, Wednesday night on ESPN, starting at 6:30 against the New Orleans Pelicans. That's a big one. Golden State on Friday, which is a in-season tournament game. We get our big blue court, which should be pretty interesting. And then we've got Atlanta and then Cleveland. So pretty challenging for the Thunder in this homestand. Tonight should be like they got to go win tonight. You got to go put it on. You got to go put it on Detroit. And it's not going to be simple, but the rest of the games that are upcoming are not going to be easy. This is your easiest one. So this is a game that the Thunder are expected to win.
What's your prediction for the record after Cleveland?
Oh boy. So they are 2-1.
Mm-hmm. They have 5 games.
I believe they'll be 3-1 after tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 3-1. I think they'll be. I think they'll be 5-4. Is that the record? Is that right? Am my math wrong? How many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's
5,
8
6,
games, so it's 5-3.
5-3. 5-3 is where I think they'll be.
That would not be bad.
I mean, that would be very good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, against these opponents.
Yeah, and they have like the season, the schedule. It's not easy up until I would say December. It's tough. They have a couple of bad teams, but they face Golden State 3 times.
Yeah.
It's not. They have Phoenix. They have Chicago again. They go to Mini. Yeah, there are winnable games, but it's a tough opening schedule for OKC.
Yeah, it is. Without a doubt, is. And so I'm interested to see how they look being tested like this. They were tested yesterday. Did not go well.
Nope.
What do you look like today? It's like almost a character test for this Thunder team.
Sure.
Like you didn't look good yesterday. You didn't bring the physicality. You didn't bring the juice. Do you do that against Detroit tonight? I think they're going to have to really bring it, because I can promise you Detroit sees the Thunder team, sees all the hype that the young guys are getting, and they're like, I'm sure that some of them think that should be us.
Yeah.
Getting all this hype. And they're going to want to bring it. And so it's going to be on the Thunder, like you said, to punch first. And to
punch first and to execute.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have good execution offensively. I mean, it ties back to what we said for the entire length of this podcast. They are still learning how to play together, and it's not easy. There are 4 players, that are willing to take on-ball reps, and it's not easy. I mean, the pecking order is clear for the first player. The second one, I'm not sure it is. And then I'm positive that Lou Dort is saying, okay, guys, I'm the last one in the pecking order. You guys choose what is best for you guys over the last 3 spots. But it's not clear yet. Chet looked like the most talented, probably, together with J-Dub. But Giddey is also the player that needs the ball in a sense the most in order to be effective. And this is not easy. It's not easy, especially when the floor is cramped, when the shot doesn't go in, and I mean, when you are pummeled, like in terms of physicality. So it's interesting. And tonight, I really hope to see some good execution for, 10 minutes, because if they do that, they will win.
Yeah. What's your prediction after Cleveland?
I think that they had 5-3. Same as you. I think that they can win tonight, and then they can probably beat New Orleans and Atlanta. And maybe they will lose against the Pelicans, but win against Cleveland again. So it's 5-3 is a good prediction.
Yeah, I mean, if they're 4-4, nobody should freak out. If they're 3-4, maybe you can have a mild freak out, but really shouldn't. Like this is still the second youngest team in the league. Like there's gonna be a time where things aren't clicking, and then there's gonna be weeks where things are clicking, and people are gonna ask themselves questions like, can they think they can make the conference finals? Do you think they can? Like we're gonna have times like that. It's a long season. 82 games is a lot of games, and there's gonna be highs and lows throughout it. I would just encourage everybody to kind of take it all in and to just do your best to enjoy this season. I know it's not super easy to enjoy the game against Denver, but to see the Thunder with a big man like Chet, and you got to see some of that in action, there are some pretty breathtaking moments of him as an offensive player.
And to be on the negative side, so that we can end the podcast with a lot of negativity, it can also happen that after 40 games, this team is not find their footing together. It's still possible that these 4 players are just not good enough together, and there is something change to be had. Think about this this team can do whatever they want trade-wise over the next 5 years to fix that. I'm confident that probably 3 of the 4 best players on this team can fit together and they can have a bright future together. 4, it's not easy. If it happens, this team will be unstoppable. If it doesn't, it will take probably a little bit more. But this season is about that. It's about discovering, can they work together? Is it worth to just throw out the season just to discover that? Yes. But my take is they will not throw out the season. It will be still a very fun season, and maybe they will not express their best potential. Maybe it will be just 15 games where, as you mentioned, Andrew, where everyone says, oh, if this team plays like that, they are unbeatable. And maybe it lasts for 15 games and not like 40, which is what you need in order to be in the playoffs. But we'll see. It's early. It's 3 games. And over the first 2, we were so excited that we had to do an emergency podcast at 4 a.m. speaking badly about me and my hate of Lou Dort, which was exactly what I would have done if I were you. So it's just one game. Let's just say it's one game, and let's focus on tonight.
Yeah, it's still so early. Like, there's no declarations to be made except for like they have a very fun, promising young core, and there's still a lot of work to be done, and that work begins here quite soon in Oklahoma City against Detroit. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Monday. Enjoy the game tonight, and we will talk to you guys again on Wednesday.